guys today a little bit more on the food sovereignty, food freedom side of things.
So we're calling today three sneaky ways your fruits and vegetables are killing you and what you can do about it. I know it sounds a little dramatic. I get it, but got to play the game to get the people to show up and uncover this. But you'll see that there's definitely some truth to this as we engage in this very interesting conversation. Can you see slide number 2? Just want to make sure it's toggling through. Okay, awesome. So who are these two models? Just kidding, we're not. This was a photo that a friendly stranger approached us in Vegas at a rest stop on our way passing through and asked to take our photo. And we kind of were like, oh, this is a cool power pose photo. We decided to use it in some of our content. So who are we? My name is Matt. This is Brooke. We co-founded a movement and a community called the Rise to Thrive Tribe. And this is really a community designed around three major pillars of living: vitality, connection, and play. And our commitment with this community is really to empower people to live a thriving lifestyle, to live more in alignment with themselves, to live more authentically, and to support one another to be vital, to find the ways that we can live more vital, because with more energy, with more vitality, we can create more, we can contribute more. Connection being a really important piece of our journey on earth, connecting with each other, connecting with the land, connecting with spirit, higher power, connecting with ourselves is really an important piece, we believe, in living a thriving lifestyle. And play, that's a really big theme in Brooke and I's lives, and a big thing that brought us together. We like to say we met at camp, which is true. And I think Brooke will get into a little bit about how we met in a moment. But that's who we are. We're excited to be hosting this call and to be facilitating a conversation around food today.
Yep. And yeah, that's where we met, actually, in the red dirt in Sedona. That's where I met also Alex here on this call. But this is me back in the day, 2015. Highly inflamed individual. That was me at my first festival. I think I have a Budweiser in my hand and water, so good for me there. And then there's me in 2022. It's pretty crazy, the transformation that I've gone through. And the irony is that I'll just give you a little backstory. 2015, I was actually studying nutrition at the time. You would not have known just by that photo. I was going to school for nutrition. I was probably in the worst health of my entire life at that point. Just highly inflamed. I was still drinking. I was doing the things. And yeah, I really went through this whole journey of learning, wanting to learn food as medicine, and my education really fell short of that. I was kind of more indoctrinated into this old paradigm of I think we're still learning about like the food pyramid or my plate, like things that are just so not what we need to be learning in this day and age. It was very jaded. It was very just, it didn't resonate with me and what I really wanted to do, which was learn food as medicine. So yeah, I was like really on the path to become a clinical dietitian. So during my time in my studies, I was also working at a hospital. I worked as a dietary aide under the dietitian in the hospital. And I saw everything that I needed to see to know that this was not my path. This was not at all what I wanted to be doing. I wanted to serve people before they got to this point where they ended up in a hospital institution. And then also seeing what they were serving, the patients, the food, it was just nothing about that setting and environment was a place of healing. And so I spent 9 months there and knew that I needed to get the heck out of there. And then I also ended up working for a pediatrician. So I worked very much in the Western world. And I know that that was all part of my journey to know what I did not want to do so that I could be redirected into the direction of where I wanted to be. And that was still, yeah, being really led up as food as medicine. So anyway, fast forward. Well, I guess during my school, my studies, I was going to doctors, getting ultrasounds done. I had this really bad gut pain, this like daggering pain in my side. I was like, oh my gosh, something is happening. No one could give me any answers. No one could give me any insights. And I'm sure so many of us share a very common story of being really let down by the Western medical system. It wasn't until I went to my chiropractor back home, where I'm from, also in Northern California, and she was able to identify this spot on my body where I was feeling the pain. And I didn't even say a word to her. And she was like, oh, yeah, that's your ileocecal valve. And I was like, what? How could no one tell me that? That just blew my mind, which is, your small intestine that connects to your large intestine. So from then on, like, I fully was big believer in all of the alternative medicine, which is what my soul knew, to begin with, and that's really the path that I needed to be on. And so I was on a path to really understanding and feeling and experiencing what true health looked like, felt like in my body. So I traveled, I didn't go to continue on my education through that institution. I did not go into medical school or any of that, because I knew, and with every piece of my body, that that was not the way. Despite what everyone else was doing, I ended up taking a trip to India. I did my yoga teacher training out there. I did some traveling. I went to world school. And then I woke up to the power of hydration. I went down a watering hole, learning all about the water codes and how chronically dehydrated everyone is. We all are. It's crazy that this substance that is so vital to every aspect of our lives is something that is so mysterious to all of us. So I learned a ton about water, again, outside of my schooling. And then I woke up to the power of living foods, and the made the connection between gut health and soil health. And so now I'm really passionate about regenerative wellness and educating and empowering people around what's going on with the toxicity of our modern toxic frankenfood system, the interconnectedness between soil health and our gut health, and what we can do about it. And it's crazy because no one ever, like, I didn't hear the word glyphosate once when I was going and studying nutrition, and it's funny because I was also in the agriculture department. Like, my school was a big engineering school and science school and ag, and we were also in the ag department, which is hilarious because it's very much like big ag. But anyway, yeah, didn't know anything about glyphosate, was in the worst health of my life, had all these gut issues, was studying nutrition, and had to learn, through my own experience of what was really going on. And so when I woke up to glyphosate and learned more about gut health and started to detox this harmful chemical from my body and start to nourish at a cellular level, I then started to become alive again. And honestly, within 30 days of these amazing living foods, I I have not experienced a chronic digestive issue since. And so that's what I'm here to help people rediscover who they are at the cellular level, and to help people have that taste of what thriving health can really feel like in their bodies. And it is quite the journey, but it feels really good to have found something that is real, that works, because I know so many humans are just trying everything under the sun, paying thousands of dollars, going to medical practitioners, even functional medicine doctors, naturopaths, the list goes on, and are still feeling really discouraged and frustrated with not being able to find the solutions. And of course, I'm still learning. I'm still, discovering myself and discovering new tools and information and going even deeper into my own healing journey. But of course, I need to share the good news, and that there is solutions, and that they are tangible, they're accessible, and that's what we're here to share with you. So yeah, that's me.
And this weirdo is the other half of the party. If you're just joining the call, my name's Matt Velasco, and Brooke and I believe she mentioned, we met last year in the deserts of Sedona last fall. It's been just over a year. We've been traveling together in partnership in business and in romance and in life. So I come from a little bit of a different background. I never thought I would end up in this focus area of nutrition and wellness, in terms of nutrition. I mean, I'm an engineer by trade. I kind of grew up following the damn instructions and getting good grades, going to university, um, and then getting a career in my field. And after, 3 to 5 years, after 3 years of private consulting work in the private sector, I decided to jump ship and go to the public sector, working for government. I was chasing the higher paycheck, that nice sweet pension, and the road to retirement in my low 50s. And after a couple of years of working there, I realized I was a glorified paper pusher and I really wasn't making an impact, making a difference. I had this deep yearning to be helping people. And during that time, I was overly stressed. I was just like super stifled and congested and not expressed. And it was starting to impact my health. My blood pressure was climbing, which was super concerning to me at the time, at the age of 28. And at the time, I was chasing the mountains every weekend. I was like, I just want to be in nature. I felt the most free, the most alive, the most vital when I was in the woods, camping or hiking or climbing mountains. And it was in 2017, with all that going on, that I found out my father had been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer at 58, which was only 2 years away from him retiring from the RCMP, working 30 years as a police officer. And I was just reflecting on this a little bit today, just how crazy it is to think back at like some of his eating habits. I mean, he loved his cold cuts, he loved to eat pasta, and he comes from a European family, so there were a lot of those habits that carried through. And he was also very, very stifled in his expression and his emotions. He never really talked about those kinds of things. But um, that being said, I had a bit of a rude awakening in that at that point in my life, and realized, after his passing, exactly 6 months to the week of the prognosis he was given, by the way, which I learned after, the power of the mind and the power of, implanting these ideas into our psyche, and how they can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I wish I knew what I knew now, but everything happens for a reason. Um, but after his passing, I did have to make a decision for myself. Do I continue to go back to that life as an engineer in that cubicle and, sell my soul, and live unhappy? Um, or do I make a shift? And I decided to take a leap of faith into the world of entrepreneurship. I had nobody in my family who was ever an entrepreneur or a business owner. People thought I was nuts to leave that sweet job at the government, but I figured it out, and I took that risk. And over the last 8 years, I've worked a number of different businesses in different areas of finance and e-commerce, and eventually I found the world of teaching, and I found the world of coaching, and that kind of became a superpower of mine, to be able to ask questions and be able to empower people and ignite the fire within them to, chase their dreams, to chase their goals, and to live a thriving lifestyle. So when I met Brooke last year and heard about her nutrition background and just how passionate she was, I was like, wow, we could really level up the impact we can make with this movement and with this community. And we've been doing that ever since. So I'm super excited to be a part of this. It's been a fun just over 12 months of being in this world, and I continued to work on my own health and wellness. I've had this interest in optimizing myself for the last number of years, and have done so much studying and experimenting in this realm on myself. And I'm here to just share my experience and wisdom that I've picked up along the way.
That's right. And yeah, Alex, that they tell you when you're going to die. Like, how insane the world that we live in. Yeah, which leads us to this problem, the many problems that we are facing with our chronic health epidemic. And I'm sure preaching to the choir right now, but you know, just to put it into perspectives over, I mean, I'm from the States. A few people here are from the States and also in Canada, but yeah, I mean, 2/3 of Americans or 3/4 of Americans are overweight or obese. 50% have type 2 or pre-diabetes, and now our young adults, 33% have pre-diabetes. Young adult dementia is now increasing 3 times since 2012, and that's also known as type 3 diabetes, is Alzheimer's. And yeah, 1 in 2 Americans are expected to have cancer. 1 in 2, like that's mind-boggling. 1 in 36 children now have autism, and in California, it's 1 in 22. Infertility is going up 1% every single year. 25% of men under 40 have erectile dysfunction. Men's testosterone levels are dropping 1% every year. Autoimmune is just skyrocketing 13% a year. Heart disease, which of course is the leading cause of death, totally preventable. Still the leading cause of death. 25% of women are on SSRIs. That was pretty astounding to me when I heard that statistic. Yeah, the Alzheimer's type 3, girls going through puberty at a crazy, crazy young age, some reaching sexual maturity at age 10. And then PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, is affecting 1/4 of women. Menopausal symptoms are crazy for women as they enter their crone. And then, yeah, 70 million Americans are suffering from sleep disorders, and sleep is where all of our regeneration, all of our repair happens. So when we're not sleeping, we are not regenerating. And then, yeah, just as far as the medical system goes, 95% of the medical spending is on managing conditions once they have already happened. 80% of medical schools do not require a single nutrition course, which I'm sure you guys already are familiar with that. I always want to like go back into the doctor's office and just like play around with them and just hound them like on their nutrition and see what they know. It's wild. And then 90% of our healthcare costs are related to diseases that are tied to our food system. And then medical error and medication being the third leading cause of death. So it is, yeah, since my time in the hospital, I have total hospital trauma. I've had to go back a couple of times for people that I love that have ended up in the hospital. And it is just a place that I want to stay as far away from as possible. Like I have full on trauma there. The way things, yeah, like I had a full on breakdown last time I was in a hospital. Just with, yeah, the craziness that's happening in that system.
Interestingly enough, I have an example of what Brooke's talking about grilling the doctor. I was in the hospital maybe 5-6 years ago for this abnormal heart thing that was luckily temporary, and I was able to heal. But I remember going back to my follow-up checkup and sitting with the doctor and them checking certain things, and just as a follow-up to give me the green light and the all clear. And I remember asking them like, hey, given that there's this inflammation that caused the issue, do you think if I eat do you think eating a lower inflammation diet or eating a high inflammation diet would be a cause of this condition? And they were like, no, it's not diet related. And I was just like thinking to myself, like, that's just mind-boggling how quickly they were able to answer the question and write that off without even inquiring any further about how I'm eating or what I'm eating. So I thought that was kind of crazy.
Because they always have to be right. They can't admit that they do not know the answer.
So I don't know how many of you know this, but 6 billion pounds of pesticides are sprayed on our global food supply every year. And these pesticides are strongly tied to all sorts of conditions: autoimmune disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer, obesity, metabolic syndrome, infertility, ADHD, mitochondrial dysfunction, and liver dysfunction, just to name a few of them. But we saw a statistic the other day about how many pounds of chemicals an individual will ingest in a year. And I'd love to ask you guys to take a guess, throw it in the chat. How many pounds do you think an individual person ingests of chemicals
Just from food.
every year just from food? 10 hashtag,
Pound.
23, 10 pound, 25 pound, 50 pound. A credit card worth of plastic. That's great.
Yeah, well, it's not super great, but all right.
Okay, awesome. I think Alex was the closest, between 10 and 15 pounds, right?
Yeah, about 10 to 20.
And there's also obviously there's toxicity coming at us from all sorts of directions with the chemtrails and in all sorts of different areas
The
in
makeup that
our
women wear. I mean, dude, it's just crazy. Like how much our environment is infiltrated in every which way. All of our household cleaners, it's crazy. We like walk or we do house sitting, and it's funny how you can just know how somebody's living their lives just by their like what their laundry detergent is. Like I'm looking at someone with the Tide thing right here, and it's everywhere. And yeah, we bring all of our own, laundry detergents and things like that with us because yeah, it's kind of hard to most people when you're peering into people's homes the way that we do, it's very uncommon to see people that are living consciously.
But every once in a while we do find people who are,
Like one out of
80%,
like 20 maybe.
80% of the way there.
Yeah. Anyway, that's why we're here to provide the education because most people you don't know what you don't know.
All right. So the first point we wanted to talk about, and when it comes to the topic of this discussion, with all of that in the background, is the source of our food not being the most vital, not being the highest contributors to our well-being is the depleted soil. And this was a mind-blowing thing for me that I've learned over the last 12 months is just how depleted our soil actually is. So that being said, because of the types of farming practices, our commercial farming system, and the way they till the land, and the way that things are grown monocrop monocrop farming, well, they'll grow just one crop in a huge field, as most of you have probably seen on the side of the road. I thought that was just how it is. That's the standard way of farming. You'd see an entire field of just one crop, and unfortunately, this way of abusing the soil season after season after season, and turning over that soil, it gets depleted of minerals, it gets depleted of vitamins and micronutrients. So, as a result, the food's growing in that soil, the food's not absorbing the level of nutrition that it once did, and then it's getting trucked and traveling, all sorts of distances to get to our plates. So by the time we actually eat it, there's not a whole lot of good life force left. And this was an interesting example. Is some studies showed that you need 10 to 15 conventionally grown carrots to get the nutritional value of one regeneratively grown carrot. And I didn't know anything about regenerative farming until I met Brooke and Josh and started to dive into this stuff for myself. But it fascinated me to see how there is a totally different way. And we're going to talk a bit more in depth about that in a moment. But without replenishing our soil, we continue to face nutritional scarcity, making it essential to bridge this gap with whole food nutrition sourced from high quality sources and organic, regeneratively grown sources. Anything else you want to say about the depleted soil?
I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. Well, no, actually just go on to the next slide because it'll tie in. But yeah, I mean, number two is the glyphosate and the chemical exposure. And I just wanted to add, just think about like 100 years ago, there was not a single chemical that was sprayed on our land. And to where we have gotten now, it's just insane in such a short amount of time how much damage we've done to the planet and how disconnected we've become from our food system. It just breaks my heart, honestly. And so yeah, we only have about 50 to 60 cycles of soil left if we continue to farm this way. So that's why the regenerative movement is so, so important right now, and to be messengers for that change. And yeah, glyphosate, like I'm sure many of you are are aware of, which is the toxic chemical found in Roundup weed killer, which is sprayed all over the land, and it is water soluble. So the thing about glyphosate is that it's not just being sprayed in one person's farm, it's actually traveling from that farm into the waterways, into the air, into the rainfall, and into our bodies and into our system. So pretty much every American that has been tested for glyphosate has tested positive for it. And now kids are having glyphosate toxicity and glyphosate poisoning. Yeah, because pretty much all the processed foods contain glyphosate. And yeah, and it's completely destroying our gut microbiome. So leading to all these autoimmune disorders, chronic inflammation, leaky gut. So basically the systems that are keeping our intestinal lining and our gut lining together are being compromised. And so that is breaking this barrier into the blood, and then everything is entering the bloodstream that is not supposed to be entering the bloodstream, which is then causing this inflammation and autoimmune sort of condition, which is just due to the leaking of our guts. And when that happens, then pretty much the rest of our bodies fail. I mean, if you guys have heard that the gut is really our second brain, some might even say it's our first brain, and it produces 80% of our body's serotonin and 95% of our immune response. So when the gut is not in balance, nothing else is in balance, and then that's also affecting our mental and our emotional well-being as well. And again, they have also done a lot of studies, and autism rates have dramatically increased. And it is no coincidence that this aligns with when we started spraying the soil with glyphosate and all these pesticides, which is just so devastating. Our children are up against so much toxicity in this day and age. And yeah, super here for the children and the conscious mothers to really start making conscious choices for their kids and their families.
What about the conscious fathers?
And the fathers, of course, and the dads. But glyphosate has been found in the umbilical cords of pregnant women and through their breast milk as well. And so that's why it's really important to start purifying our body and taking care of our bodies before conception, because the baby is already taking on the lymphatic system. It's taking on so much that is passed down from the mother and is already coming into this world with all of these states of dis-ease. Okay, I'm done.
And then the third point, this was an eye opener for me too, was the idea that people are insufficiently detoxifying themselves. So with the huge bombardment of toxins that are coming at us, like our bodies, yes, they are intelligent and they are magnificent pieces of technology and nature that can process and filter and excrete toxins from the body. Unfortunately, with so much of it coming at us, it's getting bogged down. It's overwhelmed, and a lot of our energy is going towards trying to deal with these with all these toxins. So we need to do our best to be helping the body as much as we can. So without that help, and with the chemicals from fast farming actually depleting all these essential amino acids, the micronutrients and antioxidants, like we need to be helping it where we can. So detox at a daily level is no longer an option. I know when I first heard that word, I would think about detoxifying is like a cleanse. It's like, hey, I'm going to do this cleanse for 10 days and I'm going to detox. I'm on a detox, for a short period of time and then I'm good to go, It's like a reset. But unfortunately, this is something now in this day and age where we need to keep up with it and introduce new habits and new ways of living, new lifestyles of actually helping our bodies and detoxing at a daily level. So it's no longer an option. It is kind of a mandatory thing to be doing a daily detox.
Yeah. I never even understood the detox thing either. I thought that was just like, why would somebody need to detox when our bodies are so beautifully designed to handle all this, But that's the thing, like not knowing what we're up against, then you have no idea that this is something that is so, so important. So that was something that I had to learn too. And didn't really even do my first, detox properly until, I don't know, until I learned about glyphosate, which was already too late, you know.
I mean, I've done a number of different heavy metal detoxes and I've integrated certain protocols into like my morning smoothie to help with that. And at the same time, I mean, Brooke and I just we're at the tail end of a second wave of a parasite cleanse right now, which we can maybe touch on a little bit later if people are interested in that. But I know even as healthy people, we eat organic, for the most part, everything's organic and we're putting amazing protocols into our body to be keeping the vessel clean. And even with all of that going on, there's still parasites to be flushing out of the system. And it's really been mind blowing to me. The buildup that happens over years and years and years of poor habits and being exposed to this environment.
Yep. If you have a pulse, you have a parasite. So it is important to do parasite cleansing. And if you want to see any gnarly photos of some parasites, hit up Matt. He'd be happy to share.
Your discretion is advised.
So what is the solution? Well, I think that you guys might take a guess at which side we want to see is the regenerative agriculture, which is really just a fancy way of saying getting back to living the way our ancestors did, ancestral farming and tending to the land and living with the rhythm of nature. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's really what it is. We can call it whatever we want, but it's time that we stop this conventional fast farming system, stop spraying the land, stop destroying the environment and all of the ecosystems, because when we destroy the land, when we destroy the planet and the earth, we are literally destroying ourselves and we will be the reason that we go extinct.
So. Yeah, and if any of you guys have heard of a film, there was an amazing documentary that came out earlier this year called Common Ground. The same filmmakers of a film called Kiss the Ground. Again, that was a mind blower for me. Myself, Brooke, and Josh went and saw the premiere on Earth Day, and I left the theater like, guys, we need to tell everybody about this. And why isn't everybody like running to these solutions? Because it's just devastating what we've done and where we've gotten to, and just how corrupt the system is. The government subsidizes this way of farming, and farmers actually depend on these subsidies to make a living. And it's too scary. It's too risky for them to step out of that convention into a new way of doing things. And because they're living so tight, like paycheck to paycheck with it, these farmers aren't making crazy amounts of money.
And they have one of the highest rates of suicide. Is really, really devastating too. It's like when we don't have our farmers, then what do we have? It's something that we don't value and don't honor and understand the importance of. They are the most noble beings on this planet, truly. And shout out to Melissa and anyone else here that is tending to the land. I know Melissa is working hard every day, growing some food and harvesting our food, and rain or shine, baby, it's like you're out there, you can't stop. So thank you to all the farmers.
Yeah, and one other thing I will add too, like we mentioned a bit about spending some time on a farm on Vancouver Island, is we were also on a blueberry farm. Funny enough, Alex, we got to spend a couple weeks on a blueberry farm that was all organic, all regenerative. They had been in the industry for
like
20 years or something, and let me tell you, mind-blowing the taste of these blueberries. We've been on a pursuit of trying to compare, even with other freshly farmed blueberries, with other farmers we've met at farmers markets and things like that, and just nothing compares. Like she's doing it right, and you notice in the food when you pick it off the vine and you get to taste this food, it tastes completely different than something you pick up in a grocery store that's traveled miles and miles and miles to get there. So
and which farm? Did they have a name of the farm?
I don't think so. It was
in Qualicum Beach,
Parksville area.
Yeah, Qualicum. It was like, her name is Joanne, I don't know, but she's like the blueberry Nazi kind of. She was very particular about her blueberries, and we did get yelled at a few times with them not being perfect. But it's all a tasting experience.
But I'll give respect when respect is due, and the best.
Yeah, it's so good.
So obviously this is the solution in the long term, right? We need to come together as a collective and start to steer things towards the regenerative practices. And in that film Common Ground, there are great examples of small, medium, and commercial farms, like large scale farms, that have moved to regenerative, and it's actually proven to be more profitable. That's the funny thing. The ironic thing is if they were willing to switch and take the risk and start those practices, it actually can be more profitable for them. And they're doing even better for the
Yeah.
planet and for humanity.
And Sarah, yeah, I love that you guys are tending to the land and growing all your veggies and the tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
So true. We just watched another documentary. Was that why your fruits have lost their nutrition or something similar? But it's all on like the tomato industry.
Industry. Yeah.
Yeah, we can plug that too. Um, okay.
Cool.
Biggest Little Farm also, yep.
Great documentary.
Need to Grow. Yep. So yeah, so basically what we're advocating for is this is a company that I came across. It's really a living food movement. That was the nutrition education that I was craving in my studies that is really leading the way in earth stewardship and providing people with real living foods and solutions to the most common problems that we face today. So, as someone, as a nutritionist, I really want to figure out a solution of like, okay, if our whole foods are not providing us the medicine they once did, then what are we doing? We're like, how do we fix this problem? And I didn't even know that I was, devoid of nutrition. I was eating a whole food diet, thought I was doing all the things. Josh is on here right now. He was doing this 40-day transformation when I met him. I wanted nothing to do with it. I wanted to enjoy living in Portland, eating out, going to the food trucks, all the things. And yeah, he was doing this whole cleanse of some sort, and it was with this company. And so Purium means pure and premium. And so this company is not like any other, like I don't even like to say that it's supplements or anything like that, because what they're doing is regeneratively farming and cultivating partnerships with farms from all over and sourcing the highest quality food on the planet and putting it into a kind of like a protocol synergistically formulated to address all the organ systems of our body and to really bring the body back into a state of balance so that we can self-regulate, we can self-heal, and we can start repairing from all the damage that's been done. And so all the food is grown in extremely healthy soil. A lot of it's on old volcanic topsoil, grown with mineral rich, soil, green manure, spring water. And then everything is harvested at peak times where they gently dehydrate it without any heat, so it doesn't denature any of the enzymes. So it's still a real raw living food that has more life force energy in it than anything that we can possibly get out at the grocery stores. Unless you're, growing your own food, which a few of you seem to be, then that's the best way, right? Is grow your own food and pick it and eat it and have that connection with the soil, touching your food, having that whole sensory experience is number one. But we're living in a modern world. I know not everyone here is a farmer or can be, and they're looking for solutions that can integrate into their lifestyle. And so Purium has been doing regenerative practices before it was popular common knowledge. They've been doing this for almost 28 years, and are really educating people, empowering people about what's going on with our compromised frankenfood system. And they have an in-house microbiologist that tests every single ingredient for purity and potency. So there's no contaminants, no pesticides, no glyphosate residues, none of that. If something does not meet their standards, they do not put it in their products, which is amazing. And then yeah, basically no binders, no fillers, no colors, no any of the BS. It's way beyond USDA organic standards. And actually, the founder and the formulator, he is one of the greatest naturopathic experts of our time, very humble servant to humanity and the planet. And he helped to get the organic labeling on our food system. So he lobbied for that. So he's been doing this for decades. He's incredible. He wrote the Green Foods Bible and another book that we can send you guys called The Toxin That Came to Dinner. And we have a big earth stewardship mission and a plastic free mission. So everything is now switching to plastic-free packaging and compostable packaging where we can actually put it in our backyards. And it's a positive soil amendment, which is amazing. So big zero waste mission, because if we're trying to help heal humanity, then we need to have the planet in mind as well. So yeah, that's kind of a background on the partnership or the company Purium. And so when I met Josh, he was doing this 40-day ultimate lifestyle transformation. It's evolved, it's always evolving. And it is now really a 30 to 90-day transformation to completely reset our cells and to repair our guts, detox glyphosate, and basically heal from the damage that's been done from the GMOs and all the toxicity that we are exposed to. And truly, it's one of the most effective and efficient organic whole food healing systems that I've come to know. If there's something better out there, let me know. For nourishing the body, repairing the gut, and detoxing harmful chemicals.
All right, so a little bit closer look into the protocol that we work with and that we recommend to help bridge the gap when it comes to the nutrition, the depletion results of our amino acids, the micronutrients, the antioxidants. So there's 5 major products that we work with as a holistic package in our transformation and that we recommend incorporating into your lifestyle. And it starts with the Power Shake, which is the nourishing microgreens. And I don't know if you guys have ever tried greens powders out there, but a lot of them are quite not so pleasant on the palate. I mean, we've tried, just for comparison's sake, to be able to speak to it, we've tried the AG1s, we've tried the Organifies, we've tried, some of the different products that are out there just to taste them. I mean, they are on so many fronts, inferior in terms of their ingredients, because nothing else on the market is fully organic, regeneratively grown, like the Power Shake is, but it truly tastes incredible. So that's the nourishment with the micronutrients with our greens powder that basically replaces 2 of your meals a day. And yeah, did you want to say anything else about that?
I mean, just how bioavailable everything is, that's the thing. Like this is nutrition that our body is actually absorbing and utilizing because it's all coming in this program. It's not just a one-off greens powder. Everything is working together to address all of this system so that we're utilizing it. And so much of us are putting this nutrition in our body and none of it's being absorbed because our digestive systems are out of whack. And then we're not utilizing any of it. So, what's the point of that, right? So we're here to optimize the digestive system so that we can actually take in all the goodness that we're putting in our bodies and put it to good work. And then come the super aminos. It's the only protocol that's outsourced right now and not yet in compostable packaging. It will be, but they're a formula from this Dr. Luca Moretti, who created these for people on bed rest to prevent muscle wasting. So if somebody wasn't able to move around, they could build lean muscle tissue without actually moving. So they're pre-digested and absorbed right into your lymphatic system within 23 minutes. And then they are 99.9% utilized by the body, which most protein at best is 30% utilized. And then everything else is basically catabolic waste that the body has to work to get rid of it, which can start taxing our kidneys and our organs and things like that. So this is a great way to give the body a break, to give your body the most efficient source of these amino acids, which are the building blocks of your protein, and then to allow your body to use its energy for healing. So these are a game changer.
Yeah, we did some calculations the other day, and with 15 of these aminos, it's equivalent of an 8-ounce steak when it comes to protein impact on the body, and without having to actually use energy to break down the steak and all that impact of waste that gets stored in our lymphatic system. So it's pretty amazing.
And then the biomedic is the most important protocol of our day and age that I could be the spokesperson for, because this is the glyphosate detox, and this has been clinically proven to remove up to 74% of the glyphosate in our body within 6 weeks as well as reducing our C-reactive protein, which is our biomarker for inflammation, by about 75% as well. It's actually going in and offering prebiotics, helping to restore the integrity of the gut, reducing the inflammation, and bringing more harmony into our digestive system. So I think that this product alone, I just feel like every single human being breathing the air today needs this in their bodies. Yeah, that's what I got to say about Biomedic. And we'll go into that a little bit more.
And then we've got the deep sleep recovery nighttime elixir. So this is one ingredient. It's organic tart cherries. It's a concentrate, and you make that nighttime elixir with it. And it's amazing for helping the body produce its own natural melatonin, helping people sleep deeper, deep sleeper.
Yeah.
And high in antioxidants, even way more than blueberries, and is great for inflammation and joint pain and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, the apothecary is a game changer for gout, for arthritis, for joints. It's a super fruit. Tart cherries have they're one of the only like foods that actually have naturally occurring melatonin that's compatible with your human physiology. I've never been a big advocate for ever recommending exogenous hormones of any kind, and people pop in melatonin that you have no idea how much is even in it or what it is, but it can totally throw off your circadian rhythm and cause a lot more damage than good. So this is a really beautiful alternative for that melatonin. And then the super cleanser is our parasite cleanse, which is important to do about once a season, help to open up the detox pathways and to start moving things through your intestines. So that's a gentle herbal cleanser. It's nothing too crazy. If you want to talk deep parasite cleansing, we can talk about that as well. But this is a really good foundation to prepare the body for even deeper cleansing. And then, I mean, yeah, I guess we kind of already addressed the biomedic, but I just can't stress this one enough because it is such a big problem with the glyphosate, and the biomedic is one of the only clinically proven protocols right now on the market to actually remove the glyphosate from our bodies. And so, of course, if we're not talking about glyphosate, I mean, that's just one of the chemicals. You know, there's so many other pesticides and harmful things and atrazine and all the things out there. But right now, this is the one that's really, been on most people's radars. So yeah, if we're not addressing the soil health, then we really can't be addressing health. And I know so many people with just this uphill battle with gut issues, and have no idea the impacts of these chemicals. And so, yeah, people that have had so many like IBS, leaky gut, Crohn's, colitis, every digestive issue under the sun that have tried so many things have come to this healing system and have found profound healing. And it's crazy. We'll share a little testimonial. We have a gut health coach on our team as well who's witnessed some pretty powerful things. But yeah, basically, I mean, I guess that's what we've already been talking about. But yeah, we're getting the glyphosate out, supporting the good bacteria, supporting a good healthy gut lining, and then of course supporting optimizing our ability to absorb all the nutrition that we're offering ourselves. Next, I mean, it's cool because it's certified by it has a gold standard detox certification from the Detox Project, which is a really cool organization doing amazing things. They have a whole project going on that's testing different foods out there, and they have a whole online kind of directory. You can look through different products and see what products have glyphosate and how much they have in them. You can do even at home testing. They offer different testing kits. And then yeah, like we have basically they're creating a new kind of label to put on food, so you can start looking for the glyphosate free label, and then
Looks like
yeah,
this right here.
no, that's just a detox one, but you'll see the glyphosate free. Like start to look for that label, which is coming out. But yeah, we received the gold standard for actually removing glyphosate, not just being a glyphosate free product.
So the ULT, the standing for Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, has supported people in recovering from all sorts of things. It's pretty wild. We'll go through some of the examples of transformations that people have had with some of these issues, but everything from gut and colon issues, SIBO, Crohn's, parasites, constipation. That's all stuff I've dealt with, not the Crohn's, but the parasites and the constipation, gut stuff, Hashimoto's, autoimmune disorders. There's so many of those that have been turned around, which most people think that they're living with forever, and don't realize that there is a way to actually come around and restore balance in the body and not have to deal with those symptoms for the rest of your life. Type 2 diabetes, arthritis, chronic fatigue, yeast and fungal infections, skin conditions. We've got some great examples of those. Lyme disease, liver toxicity, and high blood pressure and heart disease.
And then we have another amazing community within our community of mothers and caregivers and fathers and pretty much anyone that is here for the children. This is their pledge. It's called the Million Mom Movement, but I love that they come on and they educate and empower families every single Friday. Free education. They have different topics on nutrition, different speakers. Yeah, it's just a really cool movement. So their whole mission is to empower as many moms and families as possible to really spread this message and to provide tools and resources and to really make nutrition accessible to families. And I'm not a mom myself, but I'm so here for the children and, nourishing my own inner child all the time. And, someday wanting to potentially have children and want to bring them into a world that, is conducive to their health and their well-being. Yeah,
we're just going to show a little short film that kind of just recaps everything we've
short film that I created.
A short film of 2 minutes
that I
created
back in the day.
I just want to make sure that we're still sharing sound. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear the audio.
When it comes to our food supply, where are we headed? Where do you think your food comes from? Do you know where your food comes from? Do you know your farmer? Do you know what is happening to the soil? Do you know who owns all the farmland? What do you even know about your food if you don't grow it yourself? And what makes you trust our food supply? These are the questions that should be pondered. Food is our life force. We live in a culture that is so malnourished, so overweight, so sick. We have fast food on every corner, but the reality is, this is not food. This is genetically modified poison. This is not the food our ancestors ate. This is not the way we used to care for the land that feeds us. And this way of living is perpetuating a broken system. It's perpetuating our sick care system. It's perpetuating a food system that is no longer providing us food that acts as nourishment to our human vessels. It's perpetuating sickness to our earth, to our soil. And just as the soil is perishing, so will we. So at what point will you wake up to this ugly truth? You can no longer look the other way. You can no longer pretend like the government is looking out for your well-being. You can no longer sit back and hope that things will change. It's time to take action. Speak your truth and change your ways. You have the power to create change in the world. It's time for you to show up for yourself, for your earth, for your fellow brothers and sisters. This is a war on the land that gives you life. It's time to wake up. No more sleeping. Rise in your power or give it away. You decide.
Anything you want to say about your own documentary?
No.
No.
I think that's, we touched on all the things, but It's nice. Yeah. So anyway, so here are some of the transformational, testimonials that people have had. This is somebody on our team who has dealt with so many issues and medications and depression and a bunch of skin issues. So she had eczema that she completely healed, and Tanea versicolor, and yeah, just seeing like her before and after of her skin is just pretty phenomenal. And of course, her skin is just is signaling, is a messenger of what is going on the inside. We can't be putting a bunch of creams and things topically that's actually making our skin even worse and probably, poisoning our bodies even more. It's all healing from within. So yeah, she has a really cool story. And then yeah, that's her chest. That's completely gone. And then this is another girl in our community that she also had the Tanea versicolor on the back. And so that the first photo is the very beginning of her journey, middle of her journey, and then now it's pretty much almost all the way gone. And then this is Jared, who's Allison's partner. And he was, yeah, very highly inflamed, not moving his body, not aware of what nutrition any of this was. And they both kind of came on board and started putting this stuff in their body. And he's had quite the transformation now. And he's a huge advocate for eating watermelons all the time and is quite the character. But yeah, and they have a couple kids as well. And so it's cool to see them consciously parenting, and the stuff that they get to make with their kids and infuse all their superfoods into what their kids eat is really fun. These are just people I don't know, but they're in our community. And this first testimonial, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's crazy how someone's face can dramatically change that much. I like to say that we are our body architects. We get to literally transform our bodies if we want. And it's just, yeah, so much inflammation. It's crazy. I mean, I even saw that in my own face. I've definitely shape shifted throughout my time here on this planet as well. And then just the amount of, a lot of people are able to really sculpt their bodies and build lean muscle. And, when you pair it with going to the gym and moving, yeah, it's pretty phenomenal what shifts that you can see in your body in a pretty short amount of time. And then this is my friend Kayla. She was going to be on tonight, but couldn't make it. And this was back in the day, a few years ago. But yeah, day one, and then only 10 days in is the middle photo, and then 22 days into the transformation. I mean, you could just see a bunch of inflammation pretty much leaving the body. And this is not about we don't advocate for weight loss. It's not a weight loss program. It's literally just coming back into a state of balance the way that nature intended to. And most of us are walking around just highly inflamed, and our systems are just backed up, with all this junk and garbage and toxicity and who knows what else. And so food is just such a beautiful entry point for people to start on their journey to feeling good in their bodies, purifying the body, purifying the mind, waking up to the problems that we face on a collective level, and actually having the energy, the mental clarity to get out there and start living our purpose. So that's really what it's all about. And then this is our friend Marissa. She's a gut health coach on our team.
So in the couple of years that I have been using Purium products with myself, I felt such a huge difference. I was already healthy before, but I really experienced such a huge difference in my energy and my gut and my sleep and everything. So I started using it with all of my gut health coaching clients. And I couldn't believe the difference I could see in my clients, sometimes in just a day or two, and then just a week, and then just a month. Like the results are so quick many times and so extraordinary that it's sort of hard to put into words. And I have lists and lists of texts from my clients. They're texting me like, I've never been regular in my entire life. Now I have regular bowel movements every single day. Or my client who came to me and just wanted to lose weight, and she ended up losing 38 pounds in just 4 months, but also got rid of her eczema that she's had for her whole entire 60 years of life. or the clients that have never slept through the night before ever, and now they get the deepest sleep and have all these wonderful dreams. So it really runs the gamut of results, and it all comes from a product that is just real food. It's real food grown in the best possible soil, no additives, packaged in compostable packaging, which just is the cherry on top. But it's amazing how, if you just get real, true, healthy food the way it was meant to be grown, the difference that it can have in your body. It's so easy to digest. Your body can utilize it right away. And the combination of the products and the core 4 and the ULT, which is, how we start everybody, because it really is a system. There's nothing else like it. And that's why people see results so quickly, because they've really put together this package that is comprehensive and will literally change your health. I can't say enough good things about it. I love starting with the ULT, and then when you're done with your ULT, whatever, how long you choose to do it for, going down to the core 4 and then sticking with that. Just that right there will change your health for a lifetime.
Yeah, I also just wanted to reemphasize that point that this isn't about weight loss. This is about health. This is about wellness. And I know for me, like, what I loved about it was the fact that, I would try one fad. I'd be like deep into doing keto. And then, you hear people that are saying carnivore, and then other people on the other end that are saying vegetarian. And it's just so confusing and overwhelming. I'm an engineer thinker. I'm like, give me a system, give me a formula. What do I plug in? And how do I incorporate this into my busy lifestyle? I got a business to run. I got things I'm up to, something that's convenient and quick and that can complement the cooking that I already love to do. And Brooke and I are also huge, huge foodies. We love to cook and we love to get creative in the kitchen. So we are not advocating for, getting rid of food. We are always in the kitchen. We live in the kitchen. And this is just a great way to bridge the gap and fill the gaps that our food isn't giving us.
And then if Melissa wants to come on, she is a lovely little farmer up in Humboldt in Northern California, and she is a mama of her beautiful daughter, Selah. Yeah, if you want to come and share your story, let's see if we can we
I spotlighted
her. Okay.
Can you guys all see Melissa? All right.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Brooke and Matt. Such a rad conversation. Yeah, I'm a mama of a 7-year-old, and my story really started during pregnancy. It's kind of when things really shifted for me. I've been pretty health conscious since I was in my 20s, and thought I was doing all the right things. And then I got pregnant, and I had a really good pregnancy. And then during my birth, unfortunately, my daughter had to have intervention, which kind of led me down a whole nother path, and her as well. And because of that intervention and some of the things that they did to try to help her, I believe caused a lot of issues for her. And unfortunately, because of that, being a single mom, it took me down a road of having to go, well, she was very colicky, so I had lots of sleepless nights. I wasn't really supported during my pregnancy. There wasn't a lot talked about nutrition and extra nutrition, and I wish that I had these superfoods when I was pregnant. But I was really depleted, and Selah actually was having a lot of weird issues that I thought were neurological issues. And so I had run into somebody who was a detox specialist, and I hired him to help us, and mostly Selah, because I was very worried, and this was going on for at least a year. And he later became my friend, and that's when I first started implementing superfoods into my life. And the first thing I implemented was chlorella, per his recommendation. And there was other recommendations that I followed, EMF recommendations and, getting her away from smart meters and things like that. But that was the first introduction to superfoods. And literally after I did all these things, Selah started to improve. And it just kind of opened my eyes to the power of like even just chlorella. Um, and so during that time, I was just completely depleted and my body started to fail more and more. I started to get headaches and I was having migraines. I was becoming super sensitive to foods and I was just like, what is happening in my body? Um, I was not privy to certain things that make a big difference, like glyphosate. Like I had no idea. Like I was eating organically, but I think, glyphosate is hidden in a lot of things that you just don't know about, like especially in packaged foods and things like that. And then that's whenever I just happened across Brooke and, her, on Instagram. And I hopped on a call with her and she told me all about Purium and I just knew instantly. Like I just really resonated. I resonated with the company. I resonated with, the superfoods that they were offering, the detoxification part, the biomedic, cleaning up my gut. And also during this time, I had lost my cycle. I don't know if it was 3 or 4 years, but it was way overdue. I was doing, since pregnancy, I was doing acupuncture. I was doing all these things to try to get my cycle back. And so, yeah, I started my Purium journey. And basically, I did the first 30 days, I did the ultimate lifestyle transformation. And then I did it all over again, minus the parasite cleanse. And then I think it was like day 45 or something, I got my cycle back and I was just so stoked. And that's when I started giving Selah the superfoods as well. I consciously made a decision early on with Selah to kind of guide her palate because I know kids can be very picky eaters and have food aversions. So I decided right away that from the very beginning, I was going to not feed her super sweet foods and I was going to keep her away from other foods. And it was kind of all intuitive and it was an experiment, but it actually did work. So when I started implementing Purium, which I think most kids would like anyways, because it tastes really good, she loved it. And so yeah, Selah's amazing and she's healthy and it really made an impact in my life. And it's really easy to implement the superfoods into Selah's diet. Like, for instance, like when give her oatmeal or, if I make her cereal, which isn't that often, I just add a scoop of the superfoods. I add a scoop of the power shake. Tastes like apple berry or some vanilla chai. I've even started recently putting biomedic on her oatmeal because you can't taste it. It has a slight flavor. Um, and so, yeah, it's been really pivotal in my life. And I think me and Selah are like 3 or 4 years into Purium. And it just shows like, even though I was what I thought was so healthy, adding this nutrition as Brooke and Matt were saying about the depleted soil, it's just necessary. And still to this day, even when I'm on the farm, sorry, making food for my daughter. Even on the farm, I carry it with me. And I'm harvesting amazing vegetables, but I don't have time just to make up a salad or so I bring my superfoods and I'm downing my superfoods and they taste good. So yeah, super grateful for Purium and Brooke and Matt and just the whole tribe. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. And yeah, we love having you around and seeing Selah thrive. And yeah, just in deep honor and reverence for you as a mom, always doing the best that you can for Selah and for everyone that you're feeding and growing all this food for. It's a lot.
Yeah, where Brooke and I met is when I met Melissa as well at that conscious camp out in Sedona, and Selah was kind of the community child we all adopted, and she was such a bright ball of light and love. And I remember, and it's like ingrained in my brain,
Selah.
Selah coming up to me with just a mouth that was completely green, and she's chewing on these chlorella tablets, being like, I'm eating my superfood candy. And it was just like this little monster. But it's true, that chlorella is super powerful, and Sayla loves it, and
Start them young.
start them young,
That's right. Cool. Thanks, Melissa.
So what now? It's time to take action. Just wanted to recap some actionable items as takeaways from today's conversation, because at the end of the day, this was a nice conversation. We learned some things, we talked about some things, we bonded over some things, but if we don't put it into action, then did we really learn something? So somebody already said it in the chat earlier today. When it comes to the depleted soil and depleted nutrition, vote with your dollar, right? Wherever people are spending their money, corporations are going to start to make more and more adjustments. Seeing where the demand is, the supply will follow. So eat as locally and seasonally as possible. So what that looks like is actually growing your own food if you can. Start with a little herb garden, throw a tomato plant in the backyard, whatever that looks like for you. Meet up with a community of like-minded people and start a little plot of land, get a little piece of land, and start to grow in a community garden, whatever that looks like. Beyond that, get to know your farmers. I mean, Brooke and I spend a lot of time on weekends at farmers markets. That's where we buy the bulk of our food. If we can get it from the farmers market, that's where we're getting it from. We're talking to the farmers, we're asking about their farming practices, and just buying food that's been picked, that was in the ground not so long ago. By the time, we get it, we hope it was it was just in the ground not too long ago. So obviously more rich in nutrients that way. And buying organic as much as possible. We know it's not perfect. There were some questions about that in the registration. I know it's not a perfect system, but following that as much as we can. And depending on if you're buying organic produce, we know there is a standard that is being upheld. When it comes to some of the prepackaged stuff, I know some of you may have heard about kind of the things going on with Whole Foods and some of their food that's been brought in from China that's claimed to be organic. But there is no enforcement for food that's being imported when it comes to that thing. So obviously some things are better than others. But if not, trying to follow the clean 15 dirty dozen as much as possible. And we'll throw up a slide in a moment, just recapping on those as well.
Yep. And then, I mean, glyphosate and chemicals, it's everywhere. You can't really avoid it if you're a human on this earth right now. So doing your best to just, get away from it when you can, and then work on detoxing it. Even if we stop spraying the soil right now, it'd still take decades to even get out of our land. So it's around, and that's just the reality that we have to face today. And then opening up the detox pathways, that's so important. So, we've got our skin, kidneys, liver, colon, lungs, and great ways to detox: exercise, moving the body, the lymphatic system. That's our trash system. We're diving deeper into all that right now: saunaing, sweating it out, getting connected to nature, getting in touch with the land. And then, a great way to start the journey is to embark on the ultimate lifestyle transformation. And that's such a great foundational way to start to purify the body and bring it back into balance, and to prepare it to start opening up the pathways to supporting the kidneys, to supporting the liver, to really getting into that digestive system, healing the gut. The gut is so, so, so important. So really, like, the gut health, making sure your kidneys are filtering, your liver and your lymphatic systems all working together to support you. And so when those pathways are open, then we can really start to do some good things for our body and can go even deeper with the detox. But if you've never really done a deep dive into that, this is such a, entry level way to embark on your journey. And it's so powerful, and it's all just real food. it's something that we put in our bodies every single day, and I don't ever plan to stop because I feel amazing. So yeah, here's the clean 15 and the dirty dozen. It's always changing, but you could take a picture of this if you want to just be reminded of which ones are good to go and which ones are not good to take on.
Take a screenshot, going once, going twice. Got it.
And then I just love this quote. The plain fact is that the planet does not need more successful people, but it does desperately need more peacemakers, healers, restorers, storytellers, and lovers of every shape and form. It needs people who live well in their places. It needs people of moral courage, willing to join the fight to make the world habitable and humane. And these needs have little to do with success as our culture has defined it. So we're calling on our healers and our voices and the messengers for change and coming together and tribing up and going out there and making a change, and even just changing one person's life is really what matters. And yeah, I know that most people are walking around struggling with some sort of issue in their health, whether it's digestive, bloating, energy, inflammation, skin, sleep, joint pain, you name it. It's happening just because that's how it is in this day and age. So if you're experiencing any of this, then we would love to invite you into our container for the new year. Or if you want to start now, like, go for it. If you want to have some good damage control for all of the holidays and all the indulging things, you can start now. But we will be hosting a 90-day container for the new year, starting off the year with good habits. And the intention is to keep that going for life and to not have to just set new intentions every new calendar year. Your new version of yourself starts whenever you decide.
There's also some amazing sales happening until the end of the month as well, with some bonus free products that are being shipped out with your order. So if you want to take advantage of that, we can definitely share that stuff with you as well. So if you're excited about the potential of this opportunity, a couple ways to get started. Like Brooke mentioned, the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, jump in with us. We've got a wave of people starting to get their products in December and November for leading up for the January start. We've got an amazing community of people. We're going to be doing bi-weekly community calls and one-on-one support as well. So there's a lot of accountability and just feeling like you can go through this with a tribe of people and have your questions answered and swap ideas. And we cover things like creative meal ideas. We talk about hydration, detox, other detox stuff. We talk about movement, all sorts of cool things. We've got a great group of people in there as well. So if you want to take advantage, join us. And if you want to partner on this mission and you feel passionate about this, or you are a wellness practitioner or know a wellness practitioner that might want to jump on board the team or plug this system into what they're already doing to support their clients or your clients with the nutrition stuff, if that's not the area of expertise that you want to be focused in on, but you do want to offer that for your clients, get in touch with us. We've got a very creative way to do that. That doesn't take a lot of effort or a lot of energy or focus on your part. So all those links, you scan the QR code or hit that URL that I already shared in the chat. I'll share it again. If you want to watch the Common Ground film, we've also got a link to that as well on there. But yeah, we'd love to get in touch with you. You can book a call with us on that link also if you want to just have a bit of a powwow about your specific situation. Want to ask questions to see if it's really for you, feel free to hit us up. We'd be happy to chat with you.
Yeah, we need all hands and hearts and voices on deck for this mission. And this is such a feminine business model, new earth way of, making an impact and getting compensated for the work that we do. And so, yeah, we're just here to come together to uplift people and to show them another way of how you can support your community, your family, and also get compensated to do that. So, yeah, there's an amazing opportunity. And yeah, thank you guys all for coming and sitting through it. I know we kind of, it's already 7:30. So if there's any like specific questions, we wanted to have time for question and answer for anyone that had anything they wanted to that came up. feel free to ask it. The quote.
Is the quote.
Oh, and then if anyone wants, this is me and Josh's music video.
34, this one?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, any questions, comments, anything you want to contribute?
Oh, you didn't get it?
No, I didn't get it. I was saying
I thought I saw the thumbs
quote.
up.
It was the thumbs up. Yes, that's the one I wanted.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, now I can give you the thumbs up. I've got it. Thank you.
Awesome, Tanya. Any questions? Yeah, you guys are welcome. Yeah, if there's anything else that comes up between now and whenever, please feel free to reach out to us. Again, that link leads to all our socials as well. It's a bit of a link tree situation. So we've got a bunch of useful resources and links on there. But get in touch with us, follow our journey, connect. We want to see what you're up to too, and see if there's possibility to collaborate with like-minded people.
All right. And if anyone wants to stay and watch this epic music video of me and Josh here, we can play that.
Yo, you heard about Purium?
Oh yeah, word on the street is they got the good greens.
Rice bran solubles, crack cell chlorella.
So damn good for the
ladies
and the fellas.
Oat flour, spirulina, wheatgrass, millet.
I guarantee it that you gonna feel it.
Chlorophyll turns sunlight into energy.
It makes the plants green for all the world to see.
Renewing damaged tissue, building blood.
Counteracting the effects of radiation.
Green on the inside,
Clean on the inside.
green on the inside,
Clean on the inside.
green on the inside.
Clean on the inside. Pure and premium. Improving liver function and healing wounds.
Chlorophyll is the ultimate living food.
My cells are floating in the streams of green.
I feel like I'm buzzing like a motherfucking bee.
Cammoot, Power Shake, Super Meal Love.
We eat these superfoods to rise above.
Pesticides, glyphosate, and GMOs.
If it's not organic,
It's a hard hell no. Green on the inside.
Clean on the inside,
Green on the inside.
clean on the inside,
Green on the inside.
clean on the inside.
Pure and premium.
Time to repair the damage done to our gut.
Biomedics here to help you clean it up.
70% of our immune functions here.
It's our second brain, we gotta keep it clear.
Unique phytochemicals and antioxidants.
Get rid of heavy metals with the power of plants.
The green plants hold the key to our survival.
Hey Dave Sandoval, with that Green Foods Bible.
Green on the inside,
Clean on the inside, green on the inside, clean on the inside, green on the inside, clean on the inside. Pure and premium.
That's right.
Oh yeah!
It's creamy yummy.
You gotta get green
Get
on
in
the
my belly,
inside.
Cause we motherfucking
You
green.
gonna be clean on the inside. You know what I'm saying, dog?
I know. I hear you, boo. We getting
Plug your
green
ears,
together.
Sayla. Couple
One
of
love.
curse
You
words.
know it.
Yeah, we got that right, man.
Awesome, y'all. If you're still with us, thanks for being here.